Well, I think so. Dave, let me throw this one to you to start, and then Matt, if you want to want to chime in a little bit as well. Where are we seeing explainable AI show up in healthcare settings specifically?
Well, let me try to make myself share here. As we're thinking about healthcare analytics reporting, where we started, we keep thinking about the next model. And Matt did a great job of describing the next model, the next set of things that are happening, Gen AI or LLM. But a lot of the users of healthcare analytics are not data scientists like Matt and I. People who do data science spend a lot of time in the numbers and crunching in the data and doing the statistics, making the models run. But why do we do that? We do that so the person at the end making decisions has the right information to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about explainable AI, really trying to create, first that first bubble up there with the light bulb, identify the opportunity. So thinking about, what do I need to look at? What do I need to see? What do I need to find out? Well, I can't look at all the data to discover what's going on. So how can we as practitioners create the opportunity to provide our end users knowledge about things they may not have thought about, or combinations of things that might be happening that will impact patient care, utilization, cost, and quality, and bring them to the forefront in some statistical way. And then, as Matt was talking about, there are a lot of models out there, but how do I, as an end user, impact that? So let's take, for example, hypertension costs went way up in a short period of time. Why did that happen? Well, it might have been because we had an influx of new hypertension members because we merged with an older male population, or we did an outreach and we found a bunch of new patients, or there was a new commercial on television and there's a new hypertensive drug out there that's a brand expensive, and there's a generic equivalent that works really well, but yet that brand drug is taking over the cost. It's important to be able to identify those drivers, and those drivers are driven by how much they influence that opportunity that's been raised or been identified by the AI. And so we want to be able to tell people, what can you do about that? Where can I make that change? So not only tell you what the driver is, but help you understand how to impact that opportunity. How do I make that change? What levers do I pull? What buttons do I push? What goals do I set? And then as I do that, put those goals into a process like here at Medi Analytics, where we have managed action, and you can actually bring that to the forefront and then watch that opportunity over time and make those changes. This is not a one and done. This is a cyclical process. So models change. Part of explainable AI too is to understand, where's the drift in the data? How does it change? How does it interact? What's the causalities? And so in building the way we think about our data modeling is really that identification, that what is the driver? How do I make change there? And then how do I influence that? And then create the ability to watch that initiative over time. And as you think about it, although the hypertension cost went way up in my example, maybe we changed the brand generic, but then we have a high ER utilization from hypertensives that we can change and do some preventative insights and do something there. So you want models that are going to create those opportunities and work together. This is not a one model. This is a set of models that are creating understandability and capability to really make change in a positive way.
Love that. Matt, anything to add?
Yeah, let me dive in on number 3 a little bit. So the way Dave talked about the whole cycle, and so what I just talked about a second ago, when it says identify the drivers, that's where the explainable AI comes in and helps us know what the drivers are. And number 3 is where we're able to say, well, if you were to change the drivers in this direction based on what the information was, so let's say maybe some of the drivers were, a good example in behavioral health is someone getting housing or someone being able to get transportation. If we're able to get someone transportation, get someone housing, how's that's going to affect their depression levels and the costs associated with that? So we'd be able to simulate that if we were able to get an extra 10% of our population had transportation. How would that impact the whatever the outcome is in this case, maybe depression costs? And then you can apply that. I gave you an example with healthcare, with mental health care. Maybe that's not the exact use case for you, but just plug in whatever outcome you want and whatever features and apply that to your specific indication. And then what Dave was talking about was great because we had just talked about identifying the drivers, but what he's talking about is the whole story, because even just knowing the drivers isn't enough. You need to know, well, if I change these drivers, what do we think is going to happen? And then we have to monitor that and evaluate. We did these set of programs, interventions to try and adjust, to try and change the outcome. Did it actually change, and what effect is that having? So you really need the whole process, which what we're trying to do here at Medi, and not just one piece of the pie. We want you to have the whole process.